Greetings, YouTubers, and welcome back to another Todd E. Walnuts collection video. Hope you guys are well out there. As you can see from the title, I'm going to go through a lot of my animated movies and series, and a lot of stuff that I grew up watching as a child, not all necessarily animated, but there are kids shows and stuff like that that I included in this video. You can see that I have somewhat of a organized mess here on the bed. I do have these organized in groups, and I have even more stuff on the floor that I'm not going to show you right now, but will be shown in the video. I'm also going to give away a couple of digital codes if I come across any in this video, so stay tuned for that. And I did plan to show my animated superhero stuff, and I have quite a bit of it. But after pulling out all this stuff, I realized that the video would probably be over 2 hours long if I added that. And I decided to show that in a upcoming video, so it's going to be all the superhero stuff in one video. I think it'll work out better that way. And let's see, what else was I going to mention? I think that was it. So let's get into it here. I don't really have a plan other than the groupings. Whenever I make these videos, I don't have any script or notes or anything, and I just kind of pile everything on the bed and point my phone and start to talk. So let's just get into it here. I'm wasting time explaining all this stuff that doesn't really mean anything. So the girls are here joining us today. They want to see what we have. So let's get into it. Get yourselves relaxed, get a beverage and a snack, and let's check out these shows and movies and series. So a lot of the things that I'm showing today have been shown on the channel before. You may have seen some of this stuff, and if you've been a long-time viewer, you may have seen just about all of this stuff, but never together in one video. And after recording the previous video before this one with all the different box sets and TV series, I kind of wanted to do that with like my childhood stuff. So let's jump into it here with a man who needs no introduction. Everybody is very, very familiar with this gentleman here. Very fine, upstanding humanitarian, Mr. Fred Rogers, of course, from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It doesn't matter how old you are or what era you grew up in, what decade you grew up in. Everybody grew up with Mr. Rogers. I picked up a couple of these DVD series on Amazon a few years ago now, and these things are really great. He had a show for many, many decades, and I wish that they had a box set for all of it, but I mean, that thing would be huge. So I'm more than happy with the 4 sets that I have here, which I'm going to show. This one here is called It's a Beautiful Day Collection, and these are episodes. There's 30 classic episodes from 1979 through 2001, and it comes in these really heavy clear case sets. I think there's 2 or 3 discs in here. These were put out by PBS through the Fred Rogers Company. You can pick these up on Amazon or eBay. I don't know if they still sell them on the PBS website, but you can check it out on pbs.org. But these came out in 2018. And it's approximately 14.5 hours on 4 discs. You can watch it in English with English subtitles. There's not a bad thing ever to be said about Mr. Rogers. So that was the 1979 through 2001 collection. The next one is called Would You Be Mine collection, and this was 30 classic episodes from 1979 through 2000. This one is also 14 and a half hours. Everybody knows the classic jingle for the show, Would You Be Mine, Could You Be Mine? Great life lessons taught by Mr. Rogers. And the next one's called the Kindness Collection. You get 30 episodes from 1979 through 1991. I started to feel a little emotional because there's really no role models like this today, on television anyway. If there are, correct me. You can leave a comment below. Maybe I'm just not seeing certain things, but this one's 14 hours on 4 discs. We really need more people like Mr. Rogers. And the fourth and last one that I have, I don't know how many of these there are. I'll do a recap here shortly if you want to jot some notes down or take a screen grab and maybe add some of these to your collection. But this one's called Mr. Rogers Meets New Friends Collection. Episodes from 1979 through 2000. So in these 4 sets, you get 120 classic episodes. This one came out in 2020. It's approximately 14 hours. Lynn Swann, Hall of Fame wide receiver, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll do a quick recap. So there are the 4 sets. Again, it's a Beautiful Day collection. Would You Be Mine collection, Kindness, and Mr. Rogers Meets New Friends. When you think of Mr. Rogers in your childhood, you probably also think of Sesame Street. And I have a 3-disc collection here. These are the old school, because I'm an old school guy. I'm an old head. And a lot of these here were before my time, but Sesame Street was in syndication for a long time. Every child has seen it at least once, I'm sure. These were episodes from 1969 through 1974. This one's called Volume 1. I like the way this looks too. It just has that kind of 70s vibe to it. I like the way that looks. You can see a lot of the classic characters. Cookie Monster, Oscar the Grouch, Rover, and then you got Ernie and Bert and Big Bird, and I forget this guy's name, but there was a lot of classic characters and classic actors in here too. There were humans that played part of the village of Sesame Street, or the town, or the neighborhood, whatever you want to call it. These were put out by Shout Factory, part of the Sesame Street Workshop in 2020. And this is approximately 7 hours and 20 minutes of running time. You get celebrity appearances in this one by Carol Burnett, Jackie Robinson, Hall of Fame baseball player, James Earl Jones, Lena Horne, who was one of the most gorgeous women ever. And it says the premiere episode from each of the first 5 seasons, plus the pilot from 1969. I also picked these up on Amazon. And they're very affordable, and these are nice little collectibles. I don't know if these will ever have a Blu-ray or a box set, but I wanted to grab these. I thought they were pretty fun. So that was Volume 1 from 1969 through 1974. Like a little time capsule. Go back in time and relive some of your childhood. Next one is Volume 2, 1974 through 1979. You can see the fellas there again. Mr. Snuffleupagus, great character. I think that's how you pronounce it, Snuffleupagus. They called him Snuffy. He was kind of a woolly mammoth type character. So this one is a 3 DVD set, over 8 hours of classic Sesame Street material. Includes 57 bonus segments. And some of the celebrities that appear in here are Henry Winkler, the Fonz himself, from Happy Days. You get Paul Simon, probably one of the best songwriters in the history of music. Lily Tomlin, Richard Pryor, Ray Charles, and more. 489 minutes running time. Hours of entertainment for you, the aged adult, or you can share this with your children or grandchildren or whoever you want to share it with. Great memories, great times. And the third and final one that I have, again, I don't know how many were made, but these were the only 3 I found. This is volume 3, 1979 through 1984. Now you can see a couple of more characters here. You can see Kermit the Frog. You can see the Count. I forgot her name. Little Cindy, I think maybe it was. It's Little Cindy. She used to sing songs. And that guy was, I forget, he was one of the shopkeepers. There's Maria. She was a long-time cast member. I don't recall his name. He wasn't in it very long. Maybe the first few seasons. Now, talk about OCD and being a little bit bothered by certain things. This one came in a digipack, and the first 2 came in a plastic keep case. I'll show you here in a minute. This one has 5 classic episodes, plus a jam-packed 110 minutes of bonus materials. Mr. Hooper, that was the guy's name. It says Sesame Street's most beloved and requested clip. Goodbye, Mr. Hooper. I believe he passed away during the run, and that was kind of an emotional episode tribute to him, Mr. Hooper. And there was a lot of great characters on this show. You can see that Big Bird's talking to R2-D2. See that there's some bonus features there. 398 minutes running time. So I'll quickly show you these side by side as a kind of a recap, and then I'll show you the spines together and show you how it looks a little different, because one of them here is a digipack and these 2 are just a regular plastic keep case. But you have volume 1, 1969 through 74, volume 2, 74 through 79, and 79 through 84. It doesn't look too bad, but I would prefer them all to either be digipacks or all keep case, but it's a cool set to have. So go check out Amazon or go check out eBay. They may even have them at the Sesame Street Workshop. If you want to Google that, you may be able to go over there. These were released by Shout Factory, so I doubt these are available on the Shout Factory website, but again, you can give it a try. So that was the Sesame Street Old School collection. Next, keeping with the same theme of 70s television that was more or less kind of a babysitter for kids or a teacher for kids. And you have the Electric Company. This was the Electric Company's greatest hits and bits. It says a look back at the greatest moments from the retro TV favorite. Includes brand new interviews with Rita Moreno and Joan Rivers. I believe Rita Moreno is still with us, and she's in her 90s. I remember thinking, even when I was a child, how pretty she was. She was a very, very pretty lady. You can see that there's some special features, deleted scenes. In the footsteps of Sesame Street, because these were all kind of in the same vein. These were all very similar shows. This was also put out by Shout Factory. Conversation with Tom Lehrer, recorded in August of 2006. It says audio only. This was released in 2006 on DVD. So it says when the Electric Company was made, when it made its television debut in October of 1971, it was instantly clear that it would fulfill its mission of helping struggling and reluctant readers. I'm not going to read it all, but you can kind of, get the gist of what these shows were and what they were for, what the purpose of them was, to kind of help children learn. So that was Greatest Hits and Bits. I don't know how many different sets that they had for this, but I have 3. I'm going to show you all 3 here now. This one is called The Best of the Electric Company Volume 2. This comes in a box set. You can see some of the characters down here. Here's Rita Moreno right there. I always thought she was really, really pretty. You can see Morgan Freeman. I think, what was his name? Easy Reader? I think that was his, he had a character in the show called Easy Reader. So this one was put out by Shout Factory. It comes in this really beautiful box set. And you can see on the inside, it comes in these little slim packs. And you got 4 different cases in here. And they all say The Best of Electric Company Volume 2. And you have disc 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll take a look at some of those here in a minute. But I want to look at the back of the box. You get some special features. Remembering the Electric Company. You can play the songs. There's trivia. The Dick Cavett Show with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby got his start here in the show. Maybe not his earliest start, but he was a very young man during the beginning of this run in 1971. It says that there's a compilation of 20 more of the greatest episodes of the 780 that were produced. You get actors and actresses such as Morgan Freeman, Bill Cosby, Rita Moreno, and the rest of the cast. You get guests such as Mel Brooks, Joan Rivers, Gene Wilder, Zero Mostel, cameos by Carol Burnett, Barbara Eden, Victor Borga, and more. Characters like Easy Reader, Letterman, not that Letterman, not David Letterman, Spider-Man. This is where I got my first introduction to the character Spider-Man. They had some animated shorts in this show, and they were amazing. J. Arthur Crank and more. I'm not going to go through all of them, but we'll kind of dump the contents out, and I'll show you what some of these discs look like. This is disc 1. I'm only going to just show you disc 1 because they're all very similar, but you can see here that this begins with just a random variety of episodes, episode 12, 73, 150, etc., from the very early 70s. So again, this will be another timepiece, like a little time machine going back in time. You can see the set, and a lot of the sets for different shows looked like this back in the 70s and late 60s for that matter. But there are the cast. There's Rita Moreno again. Tell me she's not a beautiful woman, just a very nice looking lady. And she had always aged very well. Even when she got into her 60s, 70s, she's now in her 90s. I bet you she's still, a pretty woman for her age. So that was the Electric Company, The Best of Volume 2 box set. I'd like to pick up more of these over time. I haven't looked. I haven't done any research. I don't know exactly how many of these are out there, but probably a quick eBay search and you can find some of this stuff. All of these I purchased on eBay, by the way, these Electric Company. And this one, check this out. This was apparently from a public library, and that's a it's not a sticker, it's a print on there. It says Stowe Monroe Falls Public Library. I have no idea where that is or what state that's even in, but I did buy this on eBay. And you can see down here that they were not playing. It said they had overdue fines, 75 cents per day after 7 days, 75 cents per day for nonfiction after 14 days. I've had this thing for over 10 years now, and I couldn't imagine what well, I didn't rent this, I purchased it on eBay, but if I had rented this and I didn't return it, how much my bill would be right now, that would be astronomical. I'd probably have to sell my house and maybe my kidneys. But just sell them both and end it. So, but anyway, this is called the Best of the Electric Company. Again, you can see some of the characters there on the cover. You can see Bill Cosby in his bowler cap. You can see a young Pete Hegseth right there. It's really not Pete Hegseth. It's really not Pete Hegseth. It just looked like him in that photo. It's not him. They had some great, it was a great variety show because they would throw in little segments of puppetry or cartoons. They had a lot of different songs they would sing, and it was all very, very, very 70s because it was the 70s, but it just had that, the 70s just had a different feel. The late 60s, I was a kid of the 80s, but my favorite decade is the 70s, and my second favorite decade would probably be the 60s. I feel like I was born in the wrong time. Do you ever feel that way? I don't know. I think the music and the movies and the actors and everything was better in the 70s and 60s, but the 80s were pretty damn good too. I feel like I was lucky. I think the 80s was the last great decade. Just my opinion, not trying to offend anybody. So that was I guess I'll do a recap for this as well. This was my little 3-set thing here for a little DVD collection for the Electric Company, Greatest Hits and Bits, the Best of Volume 2, and the Best of the next show that I want to talk about in my little collection here of Reading Rainbow. This was another excellent show from my childhood. This was more into the, I believe, late 70s and into the 80s. It may have only been in the 80s. I'm not sure exactly when it started. But this doesn't really have a proper, complete series. I purchased this about a couple years ago now from a seller called DVDUA.com. And so this is the entire run of the show. It's seasons 1 through 21. The quality is not very good, and this was not cheap. I think I paid like $100 for this whole series. The quality varies from very, very bad to watchable, but it's not anything, you know, this deserves better. It does have some kind of greatest hits like the, you know, Sesame Street and the Electric Company that I showed. You can go on eBay or Amazon and you can order a couple of different sort of like air quote greatest hits for this show. I probably will do that at some point too, just because I'm assuming, I don't have any of those, but I'm assuming the quality is way better. But I can just kind of show you what I have. They're calling this Reading Rainbow Remixed. DVD UA. They're all the same, but they have on the spine, you can see here that he put seasons 13 through 17 here. I believe there's like 5 discs, maybe 6 DVDs, and these are all copied. They're all burned. I don't know how he did it, if he just copied them off the television over the years or how he got a hold of all of these. But again, these are a pretty poor quality, so I can't really recommend these to you unless you are a die-hard fan of this show. And LeVar Burton was fantastic as the, you know, the host and the narrator. He was really good, and this was all part of my childhood, so I had to get this, as bad as it was. But if you're just kind of on the fence, like, man, maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't, I couldn't really recommend this. But hopefully at some point, somebody will come up with the masters and put out at least, if not the whole entire series, put out a nice box set of it. Like they did with the Mr. Rogers, where you can get like 120 episodes in 4 different sets. That would be really nice. So that is Reading Rainbow. Love the show. I thought it was great. The song is probably one of the best song intros for any child show. You guys all know it. I'm not going to sing it here. I would share it, but I don't think that would go over well here on YouTube. So Reading Rainbow, that's the complete series 1 through 21. Next, we're going to take a dive into my Scooby-Doo stuff. And everybody loves Scooby. Everybody knows Scooby-Doo. I don't think I've ever heard anybody ever say anything bad about Scooby-Doo. So there's the gang here. You have, of course, the star of the show, Scooby-Doo. You have Daphne. Daphne was this one. Velma. Shaggy. It was Shaggy Rogers and Fred Jones, right? And these Scooby-Doo movies were pretty cool because they added stars from the time. There you can see Sonny and Cher. You can see Don Knotts from the Andy Griffith Show. You can see Laurel and Hardy. The Three Stooges, Phyllis Diller, Moe, Larry, and Curly. There's Batman and Robin, and that is Jerry Reed, great guitarist, phenomenal guitarist, country music star. And these were all acts that were very popular in the 60s and 70s, and even going back further. So this is the almost complete movies. I don't remember, and I did at one time know which movie was left out, but I'm drawing a blank right now. I do have the original series on Blu-ray as well. I just couldn't remember where I put it to show it in this video, but I will show you some of the other DVD editions that I have, and I'll do that right now. I have Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. This is the complete season 1. It's 4 discs, 26 episodes. My phone's really having a hard time focusing today. I don't understand why. 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, the complete series. It lasted for 13 episodes on 2 DVDs. If you want to pause it and read the episodes and special features. What's New Scooby-Doo, complete season 1. You get 13 episodes on 2 discs plus a bonus episode. If you want to pause it and read the synopsis, please feel free. You get a bonus 14th episode, Scooby-Doo Valentine. Looked like there were some bloopers too you can watch. What's New Scooby-Doo Season 2. You get 13 episodes on 2 discs plus a bonus episode again. The bonus episode's called Scooby-Doo Halloween. If you want to pause that, you can read that. This one is the Blu-ray DVD combo for Scooby-Doo and Kiss Rock and Roll Mystery original movie. slipcover. I bought this at a Walmart years ago. This was a more recent movie. I'm trying to find a year when this came out. I'll look it up really quick and let you know, but this one was pretty recent. So according to Google, this came out in 2015. This thing's 10 years old already. Hard to believe how fast time goes. The next one is called Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood. This was a snapper case, and you can see that it's broken. I purchased this a few years ago at a thrift shop. This one definitely will be upgraded. I don't really care much for snapper cases, especially if they're broken. But for now, this is what I have, and I think I maybe paid 50 cents for this at the time. The next one's called Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders. These are pretty good covers. They're calling it a full-length movie. These are more recent. Not as good as the classic Scooby stuff, but it's still fun. I think these movies came out in the late 90s, maybe even early 2000s. There's another snapper case. This one has a little bit of damage to it as well. I think I bought the snapper case editions at the same time. I have another one or two in the pile here, probably for 50 cents. This one's called Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. These will be upgraded at some point, but for now I'm happy to have these. Here's What's New Scooby-Doo 4 TV episodes, Route Scary 6. It also includes a bonus episode. Looks like we're trying to get a little comfortable again. There we go. Good girl. You all right? All right, we'll keep going. Keep moving here. Here is a Scooby-Doo triple feature called Carnival Capers. You get Scooby-Doo and the Circus Monsters, Big Top Scooby-Doo, and Scooby-Doo and the Creepy Carnival. This one's a newer one, but I thought it was pretty good. It's called Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. This was probably from the 2000s. Let me see if I can find a year. 2005. So this one was pretty good for one of the newer ones. Had really good, look at, you can see the, that animation kind of reminded me of the classic character, the Creeper from the original series. Some of the drawing in here, some of the artwork and the animation was very reminiscent of the early Scooby-Doo stuff. I would recommend this one. There's another snapper case. This one's in really good condition. This thing's like brand new though. This one's called Scooby-Doo Winter Dog. You can see there's a Yeti kind of lurking in the background. I think this one came out in the 90s. See if I can find a year. It's 90 minutes running time. I'm not seeing a year, and I don't want to waste too much time looking for it. 2002 it says, I think. 2002. Next one's called Scooby-Doo, Where's My Mummy movie. I was looking for a year again. I gotta stop doing that. You get a lot of extras. National Geographic's Scooby-Doo, The Curse of the Lost Lunch. Scooby-Doo Rap music video, mummy deleted scenes, mystery voices, escape from the Ankh chamber challenge. "75 minutes running time." Scooby-Doo and the Goblin King original movie. Look at Daphne. Meow. How are you doing? Headless Horseman. That looks cool. That's one thing you got to give to Scooby-Doo and the animators and artists. They always had really, really cool and creepy villains. Even that title's awesome. Scooby-Doo and the Goblin King. How can you not want to watch that? Next one is another great episode, or a great movie for Scooby-Doo meets Batman. Anytime they had crossovers like this, they did it in the early season, like the early run of the show too. They had some Batman crossovers. I remember they had the Globetrotters, but I think this was a later rendition. I think this was much, much later. You know, I could be wrong. I think that is the original one. Yeah, I thought this was a kind of like a remake, but I'm going to double check that before I move on to the next one. I want to make sure I give you guys the right info. So this is the original from 1972. Scooby-Doo meets Batman. This is the original OG classic. Great, great episode. Check it out. Couple more here and we'll move on. This is Scooby-Doo Abracadabra Doo, original movie. Scooby-Doo and the Samurai Sword. And they always picked great topics that draw your attention. Like, well, how could you not want to see Scooby-Doo and the Samurai Sword, or the Goblin King, or Batman? Even the Abracadabra Doo, the Mummy. I mean, how would you not want to watch that? I just had a phone call. I hope it didn't. I declined it, but I hope it didn't ruin my recording just now when I was talking. This one is Scooby-Doo and the Pirates. Take a look at some of these screenshots. I believe this is the original ones too, from the 70s, maybe late 60s even. Solve 3 mysteries on the high seas with Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Inc. crew. Oh, another thing I was going to mention too, that these are Hanna-Barbera cartoons. You can see the logo right there. I do have a bunch of Hanna-Barbera cartoons that I grew up watching that I love that would be included in this episode here. But there's so many of them, and I have shown them in other videos before, and I think I will show them again in a future upcoming video. So if you're interested in seeing more Hanna-Barbera stuff and you don't see it in this video, chances are I do have it, and I will be showing it in an upcoming video. And if you want to watch it before then, just look up Toddy Walnut's Hanna-Barbera on YouTube, and there's a couple videos already that I show and talk a little bit about them. So do check those out if you're interested. I always like Christmas-themed stuff, and this is no exception. This is What's New Scooby-Doo Volume 4, Merry Scary Christmas. You get 4 Christmas episodes of Scooby-Doo from the hit TV series. I do enjoy Christmas-themed horror or stuff like this. You know, I do love the horror slashers too. Those are really good, the Christmas-themed ones. So I got one more Scooby-Doo thing to show you, where we're going to kind of transition into the next topic. All right, so here is the last Scooby-Doo movie, and if you guessed that will probably be going into the Courage the Cowardly Dog collection next, well, I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with you. You're pretty smart, and you probably have a really big brain, and I'm proud of you if you thought about that. If you didn't, I mean, it's, you know, not everybody could have figured it out. Don't worry about it. But this is Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. This movie came out a few years ago now. I believe at the time it was only released on DVD, and that's why I do have it on DVD. I don't know if it has a Blu-ray since, but what a good crossover, because I love Scooby and I love Courage, and this was a pretty fun movie. I would recommend this to anybody. Even if you're not familiar with Courage the Cowardly Dog, I think you may become a fan after you watch this. And I really do recommend Courage. I think it's a great show. It's one of my favorite cartoons of all time. And there's been so many great cartoons. I would put it in my top 5 of all time. And I would put Scooby in there too. Definitely both in the top 10. To narrow down to the top 5, that would be hard. But I would put Scooby and Courage both in my top 10 for sure. The next one is a 4-pack from the Cartoon Network, and these are shows from the 90s. This is where I first started to watch the Courage the Cowardly Dog shows, but all of these cartoons were excellent. I really enjoyed Johnny Bravo, which I don't have more than this for Johnny Bravo. I know that they have a box set. I'll probably get it at some point. I do have the complete series of Dexter's Laboratory on Blu-ray, and I do have the complete series of Courage. And I don't own Ed, Edd and Eddy, but at some point I would like to get the complete Blu-ray series. At the time, I bought this at a Goodwill for $4.99. And this was always like around in the $20 range on eBay at the time. I don't know if it's gone down or not. So I felt like I had a good deal when I got this for $5. And it comes on 4 discs because it's a heavy set from Cartoon Network. It's a really nice piece. I'm glad to have that though. So now we'll get into the Courage the Cowardly Dog show. This was season 1 on DVD that came in this silver kind of a foil slipcover. And it has the, let's see if we can see that without the glare. It just says season 1, all 13 episodes. This was part of the Cartoon Network Hall of Fame. And it took a long time to get all 4 seasons out. And then they have since come out with a box set with all 4 seasons in one set, which I also do have. And I have a fan-made edition on Blu-ray, which looks spectacular. I'll show you that too. This is a 2-disc set for the first season. You can see the 13 episodes there. Again, I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but I strongly recommend Courage the Cowardly Dog. If you haven't checked it out, do check it out. It's great. Season 2, another 13 episodes. You can see the slipcover here. Has a bit of embossing on the title here. Courage's eyes are embossed, his nose. There's a little bit of embossing going on. It's probably going to be hard to see it through the phone. Yeah, it's almost impossible, but it's a pretty cool slipcover. And this is what drives you nuts as a collector. The next 2 were released without slipcovers. So the first 2 had beautiful slipcovers, and it took a long time in between the first 2 seasons, and then it took a long time again in between seasons 3 and 4, and then they didn't even release them with slipcovers. Here's season 3. They put the sticker right on Courage. They probably could have put it in this corner right here, what would look really nice, but they stuck it right on Courage. Another 13 episodes on season 3. There were talks, John Dilworth, the creator, there were talks that he was going to maybe revive this. And you can go check out his YouTube channel just under the same name, John Dilworth. He's a great guy. He does a lot of live streams and he uploads a lot of videos. And he kind of shows you the process of how he thinks and how he draws, and he does a lot of other shows as well. So not just Courage, but you can see other stuff and some of the current things that he's working on now. But during one of his shows, he talked about possibly reviving this series, and I told him that, you know, if he was really serious about it and he wanted to do some crowdfunding to get that going, I would definitely contribute. And I think there's a lot of fans that would contribute. And you don't have to contribute a lot when there's crowdfunding. And that's the beautiful thing about it. You can just contribute a little bit, but there's so many people giving a little bit that it all adds up, and it's a beautiful thing. And I hope that does come to fruition. And I would love to see this show revived. But anyway, that's season 3. Also, crowdfunding makes you feel like you're a part of it in a small way. You know, your heart is in it. So, you know, and again, you don't have to contribute much. Just give what you can, give a little bit, and still know that you are a part of this. You're a big part of it. And hopefully this will go through. If it does, I will talk about it on my channel. And if anybody's interested at the time, if it ever happens, I'll provide links and all that stuff, and I'll talk about it so you can find out more. And of course, you can always just go to John Dilworth's YouTube page and find out at the same time I do. And you won't have to wait for me to tell you. You'll know just at the same time as me. So these are the 4 seasons of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Great show. And John Dilworth is a great guy too. So it's fun to talk to these guys and be a part of their life and their world, knowing that you're a fan of this stuff too. So those are the 4 seasons. And then they kind of re-released it all in one fat package, which I really like. Even though I'll probably never watch this, and I'll never watch these again because I have them on Blu-ray. And I had the Blu-ray before I bought this, but I just, as a collector, I had to grab this. It's a really cool slipcover. Excuse me, slipcover. I'm starting to get kind of a hiccup that I was fighting back. You can see Eustace and Muriel and our boy Courage. Muriel is a saint, and she's such a sweet lady. She's always really, really nice to Courage. But Eustace is always kind of yelling at him and calling him a no good dog, you know, and all this stuff. And it comes in this fat pack. I think the slipcover is a little harder to find now. You can find it like this. It's just kind of like shrink wrapped like this. You can buy the whole series this way. I bought this at Walmart like a year and a half ago, when they were releasing, every once in a while, Walmart releases like the seasonal movies, and they have like a seasonal section, and they have a lot of different new slipcovers, and this was part of that at that time, like a year and a half ago. This one's still sealed, and I'm not gonna open it. You can see it. I don't know, maybe you can see that it's still shrink wrapped, but I don't need to open this. Like I said, I watched this on Blu-ray, and this is more or less just a collector's piece, but I wanted to add it in case you guys are interested in purchasing it this way, get the whole series in one set, or if you wanted to kind of go back and try to find these, if you like that. If you're a completist, maybe you want to get all of them. That's up to you. So if you're interested, there is a seller on Mercari. He may be on Etsy too, I'm not sure. But he really puts a lot of time and effort into upgrading these shows to Blu-ray. I don't remember his name, but if you just go to Mercari and type in this particular case, Courage the Cowardly Dog, the complete series on Blu-ray, it'll come up and you'll see, you go over to his page and you look at some of his other stuff. He has quite a few things that he's released, I guess fan-made editions, because they don't really have an official release at this point. So this is the only way you can get it currently. And I'll show you some of the other things he did right after this, but I wanted to kind of show this too in case you're interested in picking this up. And I think this was 30 bucks. You get the complete series for Courage the Cowardly Dog in one nice little set here. And you also get, let me see, you also get the movie that I showed you earlier, the Scooby-Doo movie, as a bonus feature. Oops, it was really blurry. I apologize about that. The quality on this is impeccable. I mean, it looks really, really good. It's definitely Blu-ray quality. This one came out in 2024. Let me take it out of the bag and show you the inside if you're interested. I thought that this one came with the movie as well. Let's take a look. So I'm pretty sure, looking into my memory bank, and my memory is not as good as it used to be, I'll admit that, but I'm pretty sure that one of the bonus features in here was the full movie for Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. And there's the 2 discs, and on the back of the discs, obviously it's purple. These are burned discs. When they're dark like that, well, maybe it doesn't look purple now through my phone, but in person it has kind of a purplish hue, like a purplish tinge to it, and that just means that it was a burned copy. But don't let that discourage you from checking these out. These really, really look great. And for 30 bucks to get the whole series in this nice little compact set here, I mean, everything about it looks legit. You got the Cartoon Network logo. Some of these fan-made editions that these guys are doing these days look just as good, if not better, than some of the professional stuff that's coming out. So I would really recommend Courage the Cowardly Dog. And if you stick around right after this, I'll show you some other shows that I bought from the same seller. I also bought Dexter's Laboratory, the complete series from the same seller. I love this show. I think it's great, and everything looks amazing. It looks really, really good. So you get the complete series, all 4 seasons, all 78 episodes. You can see some of the screen grabs there. This is a great show. I think this was from the early to mid 90s. And really, really glad to have it. This does not have a Blu-ray release. So when I buy these from fan-made sellers, fan-made, some people call these bootlegs. Fair enough. I prefer to call them fan-made, and I only buy these if they're not available. Once these become available, I get rid of this, or I just will never watch it again, and I'll actually buy the official release and then I'll watch that. But for now, this is a godsend. I'm really happy to have this. The next one, I know a lot of you guys who haven't seen this, you'll probably scoff or laugh at this, but this show is freaking amazing. I love the Powerpuff Girls. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if you judge me. I don't care what you say about me. I think this is a great show, and I'm really, really glad to have this on Blu-ray. There's a complete series of this on DVD, and it was in a limited run, and it's like really, really expensive. It's hard to find. It's not that it's hard to find. You can find it on eBay, but when you do find it, it's pretty pricey. And you can get the Blu-ray set, which is better quality. You get the whole set. This is a little bit thicker now because it's a heavier set. But you get all of the episodes, the complete series on Blu-ray quality in one nice little compact set for probably a quarter of the price that you would get for the DVD set. I think this was also like 30 or 40 bucks. I think if you look on eBay and you look for the complete DVD series, it's like 120 bucks-ish, somewhere in there. And again, quality is everything. You may find it cheaper. Maybe some of them have scratches on them. Maybe some of them, the box are damaged, whatever. You can find it cheaper. But why would you settle when you can get you know, something much better for cheaper. So that's my little spiel about that. I really recommend this if you haven't seen it. This is a really excellent show. You get all 6 seasons, which is 78 episodes. You get the movie as well. There's specials. I think there was like a Christmas special, or maybe there was a Halloween special or something. I think there was a couple different specials. And you get behind the scenes, and all of this stuff looks really, really good. I mean, it looks fantastic. That's the Powerpuff Girls. So those were the 3 shows that I picked up from that seller on Mercari. Go check him out. He has a lot of other good stuff too. He has Ed, and Eddie. I want to get that at some point. He has a bunch of superhero stuff that I also have that I purchased from him, but I'm going to be showing that in a separate video. So stay tuned for that. But if you can't wait and you're curious, just go to Mercari, check out this guy here, look at his other sales or other items that he has for sale, and you'll see just how much he has. It's really, really good stuff. And I can vouch for the quality. It's impeccable. It's really, really good. So some of these I have shown in other videos and even in recent videos, but I wanted to include all of this stuff together in one video, just to kind of, so when I make these videos are for me. This is kind of a video log or a video journal for my life. And when you guys watch, and if you enjoy the videos, that makes me happy, but I do these for me. So if I repeat myself a lot, or if I show the same things over and over, this is just my little hobby. So I don't know, I guess we'll leave it at that. But so Underdog was a huge cartoon in my childhood. It's one that I really loved, and I still love it to this day. There's a couple different editions here. This was put out by Shout Factory on DVD. I think they both were, actually, right? No, this one was put out by Sony Entertainment. And let me see here. This one was put out in 2002. And this one, 2012. The show ran from 1964 to 1966. But you would feel like it ran for a long time because it was in syndication for such a long time. And this show had such a great message to it. I mean, the villains were great. The lovable, humble, lovable shoeshine boy turned into Underdog, and his girlfriend was sweet Polly, purebred. She was always in danger, and he was always rescuing her. Plus, this also had some other cartoon shorts, the Go-Go Gophers, Klondike Cat, Commander McBragg. It was kind of like a little fun variety show for children. And this one, I like this set. I think this set looks great, but I think the Shout Factory set surpassed this one. For one thing, the outer shell is very, very thin. You have to be careful. I've taken really good care of this over the years. I've had this thing for 20 plus years. Here are some of the discs. I like the red, white, and blue. I think that looks great. And one of my favorite characters was Riff Raff. And then there was Simon Bar Sinister. There's Sweet Polly, purebred. I think we just recently looked at this in another video, so I'm not going to go too in depth into it, but you can order holy shit. Wow. Look at this. You can order signed, numbered, and personalized art from the creator Joe Harris for $49.98. I would have probably purchased 10 of them. And these were limited edition 13 by 19 lithographs. I'll show you a film cell that I have that's signed by Joe Harris here in a minute after I show you these Underdog. But I think I paid like $120 for it at the time. And I think it's like doubled in price by now. Joe Harris is no longer with us. He's passed away, unfortunately. But pardon me for cussing, but I didn't even realize this was in here. And that's a very, very affordable price. But keep in mind, though, that this was 25 years ago, or 23 years ago, in 2002. Here's the Shout Factory complete box set, complete collector's edition. This came out 10 years later. This one came with a booklet, and we'll flip through that here in a minute, but you get these nice keep cases here. They should have showed some villains, I think. They could have showed Underdog on the first one, and then Riff Raff and Simon Bar Sinister or Sweet Polly. We'll just open one of these. We don't want to spend too much time on here because I do want to flip through the book, and I do want to show you the signed cell that I have. But so this is disc 1, 2, 3, and 4 for season 1. There's Simon Bar Sinister. He was a little dirty bastard, always trying to give Underdog the business. Riff Raff's henchman. All right, let's, really nice set though, by the way. And then here's the collector's edition booklet. I don't know if I've ever opened this on the channel before. If I did, it would spend many years. Riff Raff was my favorite character. I mean, other than Underdog, of course. There's the huggable, lovable shoeshine boy biting on his coins, making sure it's not a slug. You can see some of the other shows that were available at the time. 11 disc set for Mr. Magoo and Casper the Friendly Ghost. I think I would probably pass on Mr. Magoo. I never really cared for that cartoon. I thought it was pretty, it just wasn't my thing, but I would probably check out Casper. I thought those were pretty fun. So that was the Underdog collection that I have. Okay, so next is my Underdog. They call this an animation cell. It's signed by Joe Harris, and it's limited to 1,000. I got number 734. And these were actually hand painted. You're not gonna be able to see it. But the characters were hand painted by Joe Harris. And I'm not sure what these are going for now. They're a little bit harder to find, but I'm pretty sure they're at least, I don't know, I wouldn't even want to guess because it sounds like I'm flexing, but it probably wouldn't be uncommon to see this for like $350 to $400 or more. I just went on eBay to look for one, and I found one that a guy had cut. He doesn't have the full animation cell anymore. He cut it down somehow, and he kind of reframed it so it's way smaller, and he's asking $180 for it. But it's I don't know, I wouldn't buy it. That's just me. It's still cool, but it feels like if you start to cut it and alter it, it's not the same. So I did have this framed at one time. The frame broke, but I still have the matting and I still have the original animation cell. I just need to get this reframed, and I'm thinking about taking it in to a professional place where they can put like a wooden frame and then put like a nice glass on there so it's UV protected and all that. But this is a really nice piece. I'm pretty careful with this. I keep it in a little corner of my closet so it doesn't get any sunlight or touched by dogs or Todd or anything. So I just wanted to show you this. It's a really cool piece, and I'm really glad to have this. Another show that really meant a lot to me as a child, and I still love it to this day. And this was in syndication when I was a child. And up until I saw this cartoon, I was a Batman guy. Batman was my favorite, and I still love Batman. Batman's number 2 now. When I first saw this cartoon, it blew my mind, my little brain. I just, everything about this show was awesome. The opening intro, the animation itself was a little bit crude. It wasn't the best animation, but it had great villains. I mean, this whole show was phenomenal, and that's Spider-Man, the 1967 collection. And this thing is amazing. It has all 52 episodes on 6 discs. I think this is a little harder to find now. This was the first edition of it. It went out of print, but I think it has since been re-released in another edition. You may be able to find that one a little bit easier, a little bit cheaper, but this is what it looks like here. Comes in this beautiful red swing trays. Look at this, and it has different art on each disc. The little things like that really impress me. I think there's J. Jonah Jameson. These shows were phenomenal, and it came with an episode guide. A little right up there from Stan Lee. A really, really beautiful edition. One that I cherish. I really love this box set. That is the complete Spider-Man 1967. I'm going to pause it here so I can tuck that booklet back in. I just don't want to jam it in. And next is a series that came decades later. This is the Spectacular Spider-Man, the complete series, which came out in 2008. This is the 8-disc collector's set. It only ran a few years as far as I remember, and I think this set came out in 2016. I bought this on Amazon for dirt cheap. They had, every once in a while, Amazon will have a flash sale, and you can get a set. I think maybe this would have been like 30 or 40 bucks, and you can get, sometimes I'll have flash sales where you can get something for like 10 bucks. And I'll do that sometimes, and that was the case here with this one. And all the discs come on swing trays, and they all have unique art. Again, I really appreciate the detail when they do that. And it's a cool series. It's not as good as the 67 OG, but you do get some really good characters. The animation's pretty cool in here, if I can focus here and show you some of the animation. And, you know, just my recommendation, if you're a collector and there's certain things that you're looking for, have a wish list on Amazon. And every once in a while, Amazon will drop a price on one of your wish list items, and they'll let you know, hey, this is on sale now. And that's the best way to shop for me. I always have to have a list, and even though I'm probably fairly certain I'll never get everything off my wish list, but you have to keep adding stuff. You have to keep collecting. There's no way you're going to buy everything. We all know that, and it's impossible. But, you know, you have to be kind of picky and choosy. But the things that you really like, if it goes on sale, grab it. It's a good way to do it. So those are my 2 Spider-Man editions. Okay, another show that I really loved as a child, and I still love it today, is Tennessee Tuxedo and His Tales. We have Tennessee Tuxedo, the penguin, and Chumley, the walrus. And this is the complete collection on DVD, and I think this was also put up by Shout Factory. You can see the logo there. And the show ran from 1963 through 1965, and Shout Factory released this in 2012. You can see some of the stills from some of the hijinks that those guys got up to. This was a really fun show. And again, this was kind of a variety cartoon because they threw other cartoons in between, little shorts. So this was a 6 DVD set that contains all 70 Tennessee Tuxedo cartoons for the first time in one collection. And you got segments of the King and Odie and the Hunter, Tudor Turtle and Klondike Cat. And if you want to pause some of that, you'll recognize the voice of Tennessee Tuxedo as Don Adams, who played Maxwell Smart, and Inspector Gadget. He was the voice of Tennessee Tuxedo. You can see some of the bonus features there. And we'll open this up really quick. Comes in a nice little cardboard sleeve. You got some advertising again. They're trying to get rid of Magoo and Casper. Comes with a little kind of an episode index. Some write-ups about the show, so it's really nice. It's fun to kind of go through some of this stuff because I don't remember. There's the index right there, but a lot of this stuff I forget about, and it's kind of good to go through it again. So there we have, this is season 2 and more. It says, I think it got canceled a little bit past season 2, so it didn't quite have a 3rd season. But I really love these. These cases are nice and heavy, sturdy. This was before they started doing everything eco-friendly and cutting out some of the plastic and making everything weak and crappy. But these swing trays, everything is a nice solid set here. And here was the season 1, same thing. I put the little sticker here. This is the little hype sticker. You get 16 hours of fun in a deluxe 6 DVD set, all 70 episodes, rare episodes, and a 16-page booklet. I always keep the hype stickers if possible, unless they get ripped or ruined. I throw them away. But so that was Tennessee Tuxedo. And then I kind of add this, or I kind of keep this with that. This is Mr. Peabody and Sherman, the complete collection, and these were little shorts. I believe these were part of the Bullwinkle show, though, but I just kind of keep all of this like 60s stuff together, and we're going to be showing Bullwinkle here next. So this was a Jay Ward creation, but these were little short segments that went in between some of the Bullwinkle cartoons, and this is a 2-disc set that contains all 91 original Mr. Peabody and Sherman episodes. They're kind of time travelers, and they go through and they do little educational segments in a fun way. And these were always really, really good. They used to call it the Wayback Machine. They would go way back in time, the Wayback Machine. So glad to have these 60s, these great 60s gems. And right on cue, here is the 100% complete Bull. This is the Bullwinkle complete collection, which ran from 1959 to 1964. This is one of my favorite box sets in my collection. This was not put out by Shout Factory. This was put out by Classic Media. Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends. So you see it has kind of a wraparound. It says 100% complete Bullwinkle Win. Oh, 100% Bullwinkle. This is a really nice box set. I really love this. We're not going to go through all of this because I did go through this before, and this would be a very long box set to go through, but it's well worth it. I mean, if you can find this for an affordable price, I would definitely pull a trigger on this. You get the field guide, all kinds of little goodies. There's some episode guide there, and then there's some little fun facts and talks about the different segments. And you get a digi pack on the inside. But this box is beautiful. This thing is really nice. It's a big box, so it's going to sit on your shelf way bigger than any other box set around it. But it's pretty cool. I like the way they put that together. So this is kind of a digi pack. If we can focus here, that would be fantastic. So we had Rocky and Friends, which ran from 1959 to 1961, and after that they started calling it the Bullwinkle Show from 61 to 64. They were just giving the people what they want, man. It's Bullwinkle. I'm never a fan of discs that just get slid into cardboard sleeves like this without any type of protection. But I do like this book style. If they would have just maybe gave hubs, you know, or even a swing tray in there somehow. I do like these books, the way that they open up, and there's little tidbits of info. Let's read one. Rocky and Friends, 12 episodes. Green Pernt Oogle. A desert island's only treasure was the oogle bird, which laid a valuable egg once a month. Now the island needs to substitute oogle bird. Bullwinkle is kidnapped to do the job. A little synopsis about that episode. Boris and Natasha. And these were great. I remember watching these on weekends in syndication. Definitely one of my favorite box sets, one of my favorite cartoons growing up. Bullwinkle, J Moose, and Rocky Squirrel. You know what, I think I better end the video here. I have so much more to show. I don't know if you guys are gonna even watch this first one. So I guess I'll kind of play the numbers game here, and I'll see if you guys are showing interest. I'm not begging anybody to watch my videos. I just want to kind of check it out to see how well this video is received. And if enough people are watching it, I will continue and I'll do a part 2. I have some more stuff here on the floor that I was going to show. So I can probably make like another hour-long video just of the stuff that I have left. And I don't want to make this video too long. But Hannah's tired. She's really laid out. Heidi went in the other room again. So I guess if you want to see more, comment, let me know. I appreciate anybody who watches. I realize that real life is more important than sitting around watching YouTube videos. But for those of you who do watch and interact with me, it means a lot to me for this little hobby of mine. And I want you to know that I do read every single comment, and I try to respond in one way or another. I either give it a thumbs up, a heart, or I will respond if I can, if I find time. I feel like if you guys take time to watch my videos and to comment, the very least I can do is acknowledge you, and it means a lot to me. So, and like I said, I realize real life is busy. Go spend time with your wife, your girlfriend, your kids, your dogs, your friends. Do what you have to do. And if you have time to watch my videos, it means a lot to me. I'm going to end it here. I always have a hard time ending these. I just keep rambling, and here I go again. So for Miss Heidi and Miss Hannah, Heidi's not in here, but I'm your boy Toddy Walnuts. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. If you want to see more, let me know, and I'll record a part 2 to this. See you later. Take care. Bye.